Thank you. This is one of the books that you will be, if you're interested, to be able to read. I have 26 books. I will be pointing from time to time which book is the most relevant to what I'm talking about. And they're available in multiple languages. Some of them are in 36 languages, so wherever you are in the world, you probably will be able to get the book in your own language. And they are also in ebooks and also in audiobooks. What are we talking about? I would like also to say that what I'm going to be lecturing about is not just business school. I think it's very dangerous to train people business. No. This is really about leadership. How do you manage change? Whether you're managing it in the business world, whether you're managing it in the non-for-profit world, or whether you're managing it on a country level. And I've been applying this Adizes methodology with 8 countries, working with prime ministers. So this has been tested on a country level, on an organizational level, for-profit, non-for-profit, government agencies, and also on family level. And I have a book about how to apply it on a family level as well. And now a new book about how does it apply to a person. So it's a universal methodology, so it's not just business. And it's very important, even if you're teaching in a business school, that you teach people to see bigger picture than just business. Because there might be more than business that they have to pay attention to. Okay? What is it about? It's about change. And it started with a big bang, so this is not something new. It started with a big bang. That's when time started. And what is time? Time is change. And since time is forever, change is forever. And since you cannot stop time, you cannot stop change. Some political ideologies, very conservative, or religions, try to stop change. Can they stop change? The answer is they cannot stop change, because you cannot stop time. And they will not succeed. And because of that, as they're fighting to stop change, we're getting a lot of problems in the world, a lot of conflicts. What's the answer? We must learn how to manage change. Every school has to teach how to manage change, because it's inevitable, it cannot be stopped. We don't have a choice. So now it is a question how to manage change. Here is one methodology, the Adizes methodology. There are probably others. Let's see what the Adizes methodology is about. Would you agree with me that everything is a system? Even the universe is a system. That's why astrophysicists can predict what's going to happen and where to send the satellite to. What does it mean, system? Components that are interrelated. And the globe, the ecosystem, is a system. And a company is a system. And a family is a system. And you as a human being, you're a system too. And systems are composed of subsystems. The subsystems do not change at the same speed. That's very important to realize. Look at a company. Let's look at business world. Marketing changes faster than sales. Marketing, well, we look at the market. What do we need to change the product? How do we change the price? How do we change our promotion? It's planning. Relatively fast. To change the sales effort, oh my God, you have to retrain the salesman, you have to, a lot of change. More, it's slower. And production, to change the production system, even slower than the sales. And to change the accounting system, takes much longer again. And to change the human capital, the people, attitudes, orientation, training, capabilities, even slower. Because of that, what happens? Look at the country level now. Technology is changing fast. The economic system is changing slower. Takes time to adapt to the technology changes. And the legal system that has to catch with the economic system is changing even slower. And the political system has to adapt to all the changes that are happening even slower. And the social system, our value system, we are still in the past. Because of that, because the subsystems do not change at the same speed, what happens? Disintegration. There are gaps. Disintegration. So what? The disintegration is manifested in what we call problems. All problems are caused by disintegration. When somebody has a mental problem, what do we say? This person is falling apart. This family is falling apart. This country is falling apart. Disintegration is a sign of disease. Integration is a sign of health. That's why when we're impressed with somebody, what do we say? This person has it all together. This family has it all together. This country has it all together. Disintegration is a sign of disease, manifested in problems, whether you call them maladies, or whether you call them financial problems, or marketing problems, or family problems, or mental problems. Problems. Manifestation of disintegration. And here is the problem. The faster the change, the faster the disintegration. And the faster problems appear. And that is what characterizes the new world. The world we live in. Stress. Stress. Why? Problems are coming at a tremendous speed, one after the other, one after the other. I can't take it anymore, people say. As a matter of fact, the more developed the country is, or the more developed the part of the country, like New York, is more developed than Montana. The more developed, the more change, the more stress, the more psychologists, psychiatrists, and life coaches per capita. Come to Beverly Hills, throw a stone, you will hit a psychologist. Why? High rate of change. Depression is the biggest mental disease of the modern world. Why? Change. High rate of change. Look what's happening. The standard of living is going up because of technology. Cars, electrical cars, self-driving cars, everything is wow. But the quality of life is going down because of stress. Time is flying. A lot of problems, mental problems, ecological problems, managerial problems, stress. I worked in 52 countries of the world to test this methodology, to develop this methodology, to make it universal. And I noticed something very interesting. There is more laughter in one day in a developing country than a whole year in a developed country. I laugh a lot more in Mexico than I laugh in the United States. And laughter is a beauty of life. So developing is not a secret of success. Secret of success is how to develop without falling apart. how to change without falling apart, how to change, and the problems are not problems but opportunities to become better, bigger, more successful. That is what the Adizes methodology is about. It's not how to stop change, it's how to manage change correctly. Because many methodologies exist to manage change. Consulting industry is to manage change. But many of them are causing more disintegration rather than integration. How many of the consultants create a lot of trouble in companies? People are frustrated. That's why it's called resistance to change. What I have left my university tenure, I was a professor at UCLA. How many years ago? 44 years ago, I left. I gave up my tenure to go to the field, to companies, and start to develop a methodology how to manage change without destructive conflict. How to make change enriching. It will be like in a good marriage. You have a conflict with your spouse. At the end of that conflict, we love each other more. And in another couple, one more conflict and they're ready for a divorce. What is the difference? That's what I focused on. I focused on why is Switzerland and Yugoslavia fell apart. Switzerland should have been a disaster too. French, German, and Italian in one country. My God, that should have been a disaster. Those nations have been at each other's throat every world war. And look at Yugoslavia. Bosnians, Croatians, Serbs, the whole country fell apart. Why Yugoslavia fell apart and Switzerland is such a successful country? That is what the Adizes methodology is about. And what is the secret? If all problems stem from disintegration, what is the solution? Integration. How do we change and not fall apart? And what does it mean? I give you already one tip. No company, no country, no family, no human being should go like this, grow like this. For a human being, I'm building my career, making money, For a company, grow. Country, change, come on guys, new technologies. Israel, more unicorns per capita than any country in the world. If you grow like this, what might happen? Why? Because you're changing too fast externally, falling apart internally. So people make a lot of money career, then they lost their family, they lost their health. What happened? External integration, internal disintegration. The trick is, how do you change without falling apart? And what does it mean? You look at the outside, you build your career, you build your market, you build your technology, that's all fine. But look at the back. Are we falling apart in the company? Are we falling apart as a person? Are we falling apart as a family? And I have to pay attention to both. It's also called balanced life for a personal life. But it's also true for a company. How much time do you spend thinking about market, thinking about marketing and industry and finance and career? And how much do you think about problems inside that you have to fix? You need to chew gum and cross the street at the same time. What does it mean? As you are growing out, you have to change inside, integration inside. And let's see how we do that. An integrated company is a healthy company. A sick company is a disintegrated company. Company means system, family, country, family, whatever. What does it really mean then? For sustainable success, everybody's talking about sustainability. Even Keynes, one of the gurus of economics, said we need to talk about profits in the long run. And what is the long run? What does it mean? How do we do that? How do you sustain your company to be successful? How do you sustain that your family will be together? How do you that the country will be together? It needs to be healthy. Why am I telling you that? Economic school of thought, one of them is, what is the purpose of a business organization? Is increasing the equity of the stock owners. That's why they build the company, for equity. And now everybody feels, yeah, but I'm not that socially responsible, so now we have to pay attention to also the other stakeholders. And I'm saying is, no. That's true, but that's a second step. What is the first step? Be healthy. The most important role you have as a leader of a country, of a company, as a parent, as a human being, be healthy. You know, let me tell you a personal story. And I'm pretty sure it's true with all of you. I used to come to visit my mother and tell her about my success. A new book and a client and a new country, and I did this and I did that, and I got this award and I got this award. I was trying to make her proud of me. And she will listen to me, nod her head, take my hand in her hand, tap on my hand and say, yes, my son, but how is your health? That's the most important. How is your health? That's why whenever we have a drink, we say, Nazdravye, Lechaim, Salud. Do you realize what we are doing? That is the most important thing. To have a healthy company, healthy marriage, be healthy. Then success will be sustainable. Otherwise, you will achieve the goals that you're looking for, but you will say it was not worth it. I lost my health, I lost my family, or the company fell apart. It was not worth it. What is the role of a leader? What is the role of a manager and a partner? To build and to sustain systems health. And what is a healthy organization? It has to be effective and efficient. No waste of energy. Get the job done. Look at a healthy body. Every part of the body has to be effective. The kidney does its job, the bladder does its job, the brain does its job, the heart does its job, the lung does its job. In a company, marketing does its job. All of them are effective, and the company is effective. And the country is effective. And the globe is effective. It has to be effective. The system has to be effective, and we'll discuss what effective means. It has to be efficient, no waste of energy. Because if you waste of energy, there is not enough energy to deal with the external purpose for which you exist. Because all the energy is being wasted inside. If you're sick, what happens when you're sick? Your energy, which is fixed, is used to keep the systems working. You have no energy to deal with the world. That's why you say to people, leave me alone, I'm tired today, I'm sick today, I cannot do anything. Why? All the energy is going to deal with the inefficiency of the system internally. But it has to be not only in the short run, it has to be also for the long run. And what I discovered many years ago is that there are 4 roles, or you can call them vitamins, organizational vitamins. 4 roles that are necessary to be in the system in order for it to be effective and efficient in the short and in the long run. And now let's discuss what those roles are. The P is first to fulfill the purpose for which organization exists. Every system should have a purpose. Every subsystem should have a purpose. And by the way, a subsystem is a system of itself for its subsystems. So everything is a subsystem of everything else. There's a grand subsystem, the universe, and we are all subsystems. Every system, subsystem needs to have a purpose. Why do you exist? And what is the purpose? To provide for the needs of its clients. It should have clients. For whom do you exist? Let me say the following thing. Who am I? This is a question has been addressed by philosophy and by psychology for years. Who am I? You cannot find the answer. Look at me. I'm looking at the universe. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? What am I for? That's who I am. If I fulfill the purpose of being a father, who am I? I'm a father. If I fulfill the purpose of being a teacher, I'm a teacher. Tell me what is the purpose for which you exist, and I will tell you who you are. What do you exist here for? But in order to find out the purpose, you have to identify the clients. So, who am I? What is this company all about? Why does this company exist? Well, it exists to satisfy the clients. Who are the clients? Here is a simple way, another way to look at it. Who are the clients? Who will cry if you die? That's who your clients are. Who needs you? If your kids need you, you're a parent. If your clients need you and you're not satisfying their needs, that's where the clients are. Who needs you? Now, there is a big difference in my theory between clients, customers, and stakeholders. There's a big confusion in the literature and how people treat it, or stakeholders, but you're lost. There are too many stakeholders. Then what do you do now? How do you know whom to serve? How do you know where to focus? Let me explain. Clients are those that decide to use your service. Those that have the authority to decide to buy or not to buy, using the business analogy. Who decides, that is who the client is. Who is using the product is the customer. Example. I used to take my kids when they were young every Sunday for brunch. I like to go to a restaurant, it's called Love at the time. It had baked beans, which I like. Guess where did we go? To which restaurant did we go to eat? To McDonald's. Who decided? The kids. So who are the clients of McDonald's? Not who paid. I paid, guys. I paid. The kids. That's why McDonald's is very good in its marketing. It is oriented to the kids. They promote to the kids. They have playgrounds for the kids in front of the restaurant. The menu is for the kids. Who decides? That's who the client is. If you're a real estate developer in a developed country like United States, who is a client that buys an apartment? The wife. So you build it for the wife. Go to New York. The kitchens are very, very small. Why? People eat out. Who is buying it? The wife. She decides. So ask yourself, who is the decision maker? Sometimes, if you're in the business world, especially into B2B industry, who decides is multiple people. So you have to address multiple people. The finance people have the budget. The purchasing, the director decides to buy it. The engineering has to, who? So I have to talk to all of them to create them together to agree to buy. These are the clients. The customer is who uses it, who consumes it. Consumer, customer is consumer for me. Who is a stakeholder? Whom you have to keep happy and satisfied to give you the resources you need in order to satisfy the client. Like investors. For me, owners of a company are not the clients. That's why they make economic theory that says the purpose of a business is to increase the value, the equity of the stockholders. Then you know what? We are really looking for profit, and we are doing all kinds of terrible things. No. The investors are, the owners are stakeholders. I want to be sure that I provide them the return on their investment so they continue investing and happy. But I'm not trying to maximize that. I'm trying to keep them at bay. It's my constraint. It's not my goal. And keeping the constraint alive and happy is a goal. But I'm not trying to maximize. I'm trying to satisfy using the word satisfy meets the criteria necessary and then leave it alone. And who am I trying to maximize satisfaction? Clients. Because that's my source of revenue. That's what I exist for. If your clients don't come back, close the shop. You learn this from a restaurant if you own a restaurant. If the clients are not coming back, you're dead. So measure repetitive sales. When I look at the health of an organization, I don't ask them what is the rate of increase in new revenues. No. What is the percentage of repetitive sales? Brand loyalty, it's called. Are they coming back? If they're coming back, there is a reason why they're coming back. If your spouse is coming back, there is a reason why they're coming back. If the children are coming back and not dispersing in the world, there is a reason. Because you satisfy the need. Are you satisfying a need? And it applies to personal life. You're you know something? You're a client too. Are you living your life? Or are you living somebody else's life? Are you satisfying your needs? Now, question is, are you a stakeholder or are you a client? If you're a client, you become very egocentric. Everything is for me. Everything is for me. That's all I want. No, you're a stakeholder. You want to meet a minimum, and the rest is the world. But I have to satisfy myself as well. Not maximize, satisfies. Here's an exercise for you. If you're going to continue with this course, which we are giving for free because we want to spread this methodology to teaching, because you have a very important role as educators, and I'm going to be talking about it. What is a P? What is the purpose of a school, of a prison, of a hospital, of a government? Do the exercise, and I will discuss it at the next class, which is going to be June 21, same time. But for those that will become, or they want to become affiliate of the Adizes graduate school, which means that they're willing and they want to learn the methodology deeper and deeper and to teach it in their institution, to teach it. If you don't teach it, then thank you very much. Read the books, but I want to spend time with the people that are teaching so we can continue to develop. That's your assignment for next time. What will make you efficient? Well, that's called administration. You have to systematize, to see to it that the right things at the right time, at the right sequence, at the right intensity are happening. You have to organize, systematize. That's what administration is about. Standardization, making a system work. The shortest distance between 2 points is straight line. That will be systematization. And not going around and trying to find out where the second line is. Don't reinvent the wheel each time you need to wheel something around. There is a wheel, there is a system, there is a manual. So by systematization, you make it efficient because we are not wasting time exploring. It already exists. Just follow the system that is proven to work and produces the desired results. And what will make you effective in the long run? What does it mean effective in the long run? Satisfy future needs of present clients and future needs of future clients. Because there is change. So I look at the future and say, what is going to be the needs of the market in the future? What kind of new clients are going to emerge? Years ago, I was working with a cosmetics company. They asked a question, what does the future look like? And it was about 40 years ago. And we say the future is men, cosmetics for men. And I tell you, what do you think is the future today in the cosmetic industry? Children. Unisex cosmetics. It's not men or women, unisex. You have to predict the future. You need to plan. Now watch carefully with the word plan. Planning is not deciding what to do tomorrow. That's called dreaming. Let's do tomorrow this and that. Wonderful. I saw in Amsterdam a bar, and it had a big sign on the wall. Free drinks tomorrow. They have never given a free drink, ever. Why? Whenever people come in and say, now where's the free drink? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's why in Mexico, when they tell you mañana, which means tomorrow, it's equivalent to tell you, forget it. Mañana. Who knows what's going to happen? Planning is not deciding what to do tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no tomorrow. It's only today, because tomorrow will be today. So what does it mean, planning? It is deciding what to do today to be ready for tomorrow. You predict tomorrow and say, guys, what do we do today to get ready? We need to develop a new product. We need to develop new technology. I was just getting a news today from Reuters that Samsung in Korea, South Korea, is investing $3 billion to develop the new technologies of tomorrow. What are we going to do today to prepare for tomorrow? And that means taking risk. Because you prepare for tomorrow, and tomorrow is not exactly what you expected. There was a war, or there is a war, or God knows what's going to happen. Force majeure. You have to take risk. You must be willing to take risk. We need to do it in the present time. And it's very interesting. It maybe will be interesting for those of you who have some religious inclination. What is the name of God? In the Jewish religion, it's forbidden to pronounce the name of God. That's why it's called Hashem, the Lord, not his real name. You do not pronounce it. Since I'm not religious, I pronounced it, and then I had a big insight. It's Yehovah. But if you know Hebrew, something very interesting happens. The Y in Hebrew means in the future. When you put a Y in front of a verb, you're saying, I will do it in the future. I will work in the future. Ya'avod. Yelech. And what is Hoveh in Hebrew? Means present. You know what is the name of God? Make your future today. The name of God is make your future today. Don't live in the future. Imagine what you want to be tomorrow, starting today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Imagine what you want tomorrow to be, start to be today. That's the name of God. That is an order. Don't live in the past, don't live in the future. Make your future today. And what do we need to be efficient? We need to integrate. And what does it mean to integrate? It to transform organizational consciousness. And consciousness is a big discussion. What does it mean? It's more than awareness. I'm aware that I'm cold. So what? Consciousness is that I'm aware of the repercussions of my awareness. That if I'm cold, I might catch a cold and I get pneumonia. So I'd better do something about it. That's consciousness. When you're aware and you realize the repercussions of what you're aware about. So you're ready to do something about it. So it's an active situation and not a passive. Awareness is passive. I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm conscious. Oh, I better do something about it. To transform organizational consciousness, activity, culture, action from mechanistic to organic. And what does it mean? What does it mean? Here is an integrated chair. Do you see that? It's not broken. It's a chair. But there is no internal interdependency. If one of the legs breaks down, the chair is broken down. Doesn't work. And the question should be asked, why does not the other leg move to the center of the chair, creating a tripod so I can continue P? What is P? Continue the capability to sit, because the chair was designed with the purpose for me to sit. So the P continues. The P roll continues. It will not move because it is mechanistic. It's like a machine. There is no internal interdependency between the parts, which is different from an organic interdependency. What will happen if one of the fingers breaks down? The fingers will, they compensate. The hand will continue. It will not be as comfortable, but they will continue. An integrated unit in the military. Somebody gets killed, the unit continues. Even the commander gets killed, they continue because they're integrated. There is internal interdependency. It does not have to be physical. If something happens to your little child, are you in pain? You bet you're in pain. Are you going to jump in and help? You bet you're going to help. What happened here? We feel for each other. We care for each other. We are conscious of each other. So the role of integration is to create organic interdependency and not mechanistic interdependency. Mechanistic means bring consultants from the outside, bring coaches from the outside, bring organizational psychologists from the outside. To be like the body that takes care of itself. I'm not taking drugs. The body will take care of itself. You're healthier than if you're constantly living on drugs all day long, right? When you're on drugs, you're on mechanistic consciousness. And what is the strongest organic interdependency? The strongest. Are you ready? Love. That's God is love. Strongest interdependency. Tell me how much love there is in a company, and I will tell you how integrated it is. We care for each other. Same thing with the family. Same thing for you as a person. How much self-love do you have? Do you love yourself or do you hate yourself? Love. Yes. The role of leadership is to keep the organization healthy. And for that, the biggest ingredient is love. We'll talk about it more. Very important, but I don't want to get too religious here. No time, no space limit. The integration can go up, down, and sideways. I'm good integrating with my bosses, but not good with the people. Or I'm good with my colleagues, but not with my boss. It's rare that you'll find somebody who is integrated in all directions. You might have to need multiple integrators, somebody who is capable upwards, some to the sideways, some downwards. If you perform the P and A roles, you'll be profitable in the short run. Now let's talk about money. We talked so far about health. Now let's see how we make it money with that. If you satisfy present client needs efficiently, you will be profitable. They're willing to pay for a product so much, and you produce it for lower cost than what they're willing to pay for it, you're profitable. For long-term profitability, you need E&I, not only P&A. Here is the model. Okay? We can look at it like in a car, so you remember that. The engine does the P. It fulfills the purpose for which a car exists, which is what? Moving, transporting. The wheel is the E, change, change directions. And the brakes are what? The A. Hey, you're going too fast. You might tumble. Control. A is control. E is productivity. P is results. And the oil or the electronic system is the integration. And you can see that this applies to everything. I would like you to realize we are not talking only about business. We're talking about any system. Look at this. Which role do you think this one is fulfilling? An I role, right? Integration, but also sitting. The main role here is integration. In sitting. How about this? It fulfills a P role, but it has an E to it. Why? You can go up, you can go down, you can be in, do this. See, it's a change orientation, satisfying present and future needs, but the purpose mostly is for P, for sitting. How about this furniture? Do you see how organized it is? It's all A. And what about this crazy one? All E, satisfying all kind of other needs. You can analyze. I want you to understand that PAI, it applies beyond styles of management or organizations, applies to everything. It gives you a shortcut to understand things and say, oh, we're missing P here, we're missing A here. Okay? How about in architecture? The one on the left, is it P, A, E, and I? It's mostly, this is a P, dwelling. That's it. Custom made, just fulfill the role of dwelling. This is very A, very efficient, maximum apartments for minimum cost. This is an E, crazy system here. Change. And what is this? Community building for I purposes. Look at this. What is respect? Well, different ways to look at it. One way to interpret respect is let somebody give an elder a seat. Open the door for somebody to walk through in before ahead of you. Knock on a door before you open the door. You're showing respect. You're not just banging into somebody's apartment. And another way to look at respect, that you follow the culture rules. Say please and thank you. Yes, sir. Excuse me. That's showing also respect. Or is another one. Love others like you love yourself. How about this one? Immanuel Kant. Recognize the sovereignty of the other person to be different. That's respect too. This is the P respect. Why? Because I'm fulfilling a purpose, giving you a seat, opening your door. I'm doing an action, satisfying a certain need, respectfully. Here I'm just following the manual. Just following the manual. This is love. And this is E. Why is this E? Because if I recognize your right to be different, I'm going to learn something from you. And learning is growthful. So you start looking at these vitamins in multiple ways, guys. You will find out it's very, very helpful to understand political science, to understand what's happening in the politics, in sociology, in any field, including business. Look at this in love. You can express love by bringing flowers. Your pain is my pain. Yo para ti, Spanish. May I be in your place and may I suffer your suffering so you don't have to suffer. Love you. Here is an Indian guru says, love is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more you have it. The more love you give, the more love you get. And it's another one. Do something that makes the other person happy. I do things for you because I love you. Bring flowers. You just follow the ritual. I should bring flowers to my wife every Friday. Okay, I follow the manual. Friday, here are the flowers. I did my job. I showed my love. Do something that makes the person happy. Make the client happy. P. Your pain is my pain. We are integrated. And build your love. Build your love. The more you give, the more you get. You said that? Multiple ways to interpret things. I want you to see it. But there is something for you guys. We come from 22 countries. Some of you are from developing countries. Look at this. In past colonies, any one of these countries that was a colony, what did the colonialists bring to the country? The A and the E. They brought their own systems of control. The way the country is being controlled. That's what was the strength of Great Britain. Why was Great Britain such a big colonialist country? They were bringing aid to every country they were taking over. Everything was organized, systematized, and that's what they brought. And they also brought the E. There was no indigenous E. If you look at Mexico, the indigenous Mexicans know how to do a taco stand in the street. Agricultural society is P-oriented and I-oriented. You don't have E because you plan only the next season. You don't look at the long run. And there is no A, there is no need for A. You just plant and you harvest and that's it. So a developing country, which is not industrialized itself, but the industrialization was brought from the outside, either by the colonialists or by the expatriates or by the multinationals. The local did not develop the A and the E. What Mexico does not have is A, indigenous E. It's only P and I. Work hard, and like somebody told me, in our country we don't have institutions. We have connections. What does institutions mean? A. What is connections? I. And when you don't have A, and you're using only I to interconnect, what might emerge? Corruption. What is corruption? That you're using connections to get things done. Because there is no system, there is no law and order. And when there is no E to the indigenous people, what happens? If you have some E, if you are a Mexican, low-level Mexican, down there, you know, what is your future? How do you become big? Very difficult. So what is the bypass system? Drugs. That is how you become big. Because you cannot make it big in the industrial world. You make it big in the drug world. Developing countries are suffering from lack of A and E. And unless they develop indigenous A and E, they're going to remain developing forever. And all this aid, sending money to developing countries, is only maintaining their underdeveloped status. We are becoming enablers. The money that we should be sending there should not be for helping poverty, should be for developing their A and developing their E. What does it mean? When I worked with Vicente Fox, the president of Mexico, and I reorganized the system, their government, I said, you need a ministry for debureaucratization that will build new systems of order. And you need a ministry for supporting middle-class development, economic development. And you need to change the educational system. We're teaching people to know, which is really P, rather than to learn, E. Lifelong learning, E. We are not developing E in developing countries. For the indigenous people, we are importing the E with expatriates or inflow of the colonialists that stayed. You can analyze countries with PAI. Yugoslavia fell apart, but we'll talk about it later. Why? What does Israel have a lot? P, E, A, or I? Lot of E. Enormous E. That is the strength of Israel, is the E. Creativity, risk-taking, very entrepreneurial. Same thing with Greece, very entrepreneurial. How good is the I in Israel? How good is the I in Greece? How good is I in Japan? How big is the E in Japan? They're importing the E, copying the world. copying technology, or importing executives for Sony, for Nissan. So you can analyze now countries and see which role is strong, which role is missing. And then the answer is, what do we need to develop if we want to make the country healthy? Japan has a very big P, hard-working people there. Oh my God. A, very organized. Look how they make their sushi. Very organized. I, bow to each other, recognize each other internally, not externally. They don't have I externally, internally. How is a E? They need to develop the E. They have to change their educational system. Stop teaching people to know and start teaching them to learn. What does Israel need to develop? Fast, if it's going to survive. I. Okay. Look at this building. Is it a P building, an A building, an E building, or an I building? Very P and very A, right? It satisfies the P need, which is for somebody to live there or to work there, in a very A way, very organized. What do you think this is? It was built during the Soviet Union. And what was Soviet Union strong on? A, enormous A. Enormous A. The Soviet Moscow. This is interesting. Look at this. There is a certain cartoon in France called Asterix. And there are four personalities in these cartoons. Asterix is the guy there in the middle, with his hair standing up. And he's very creative. He jumps from one wall to the other, climbing the trees constantly. He believes he can do anything. He can do anything. He is impotent. No limits. And then you have some guy who's constantly carrying a big rock from place to place, constantly working. And then there are the Romans that are very organized, straight line, marching all the time, very organized. And there is somebody there called, I forgot his name, that plays the harp and always tell him, get away, don't stop playing this and stop playing the music. Asterix, the creative, jumping, omnipotent, is a E. He's a Gallic guy. The guy carrying the rocks, working all the time. Working. The P. The Romans are the A. And this guy was Cacophonics, I think his name was. The place, come on guys, let's sing together. They tell him, shut up, get out of here. By the way, this tells you the culture of France. It's a combination of Gallic and Roman. It's an A and E. They cannot get it all together. And anytime somebody tries to integrate them, they tell him, shut up and get out of the way. They are living in internal conflict all the time. French culture, a lot of A, a lot of E, and they're in conflict with them, and they're not getting it together. What do you think this is? A or E? A and P, right? Very A. Look at this, repetitive. Every building, very standardized. How about this? A and P, right? Very A. Same, systematized. Madrid. And look at the Catalonia. Does it look to you A or does it look to you E? There's the conflict between Madrid and Barcelona. It's an E-A conflict. It is Sadhguru saying something very interesting. If you employ your physical body to reach the ultimate union, it's called karma yoga. If you employ it for intelligence, it's called Gnana yoga, Jnana yoga, yoga of intelligence. Then the yoga of devotion, emotions, and the yoga of transformation energies. What the hell are we talking about? Yoga of action is P. Intelligence is A. Emotions, E. Devotion, mission, purpose. And transformation is I. It is with the caste system in India. The caste system, Brahman, merchant, warrior, commoners. P, A, E, I. It is a Jewish religion. The Old Testament says there are 4 functions of government for managing a well country. You need a king, a judge, a priest, and a prophet. What does a king do? P, goes to war, protects the country. The judge, A. Priest, I. Community. And what is the prophet? E. Where disaster is coming, God will punish you. Oh, something happened. I cannot go to the next. Oh, sorry, here it is. Okay, here we go. Somebody, an associate of mine, did a study of 4,000 articles and found out that all this PAI is repeating itself in all these fields of knowledge. And one of these days, hopefully, we'll write a book. Why this is important? Here is the last step of this analysis of the PAI roles. If you look at the development of humanity, if you are Darwinian, we started as chimpanzees. And the strongest chimpanzee was a leader. Then we become a nomadic society. The strongest hunter was a leader. Then we became an agricultural society. The person with the most cows or sheep or land was a leader. What is the common denominator? Muscle, strength, possessions, which is also what tells you about colonialism. What was colonialism is? The more land, the more resources you have, the stronger you are. More, muscle. It was a P, humanity, the stage of P of humanity. Then some A, some E, some I, was mostly P. Then we became industrial. What happened to the industrial society? Very P-oriented, the A was starting to grow. The A grew up. Why? Because you had to plan budgets, hiring people, supply chain, organization, sales. You see that? That's industrial. A grew up. Industrial society was P and A. But what's happening now, my friends? There is a post-industrial society. What's becoming more and more important now? The brain. Muscle is not so important. Brain, knowledge, planning, capabilities. What does Israel have? 63% of Israel is desert. Brain. What does Uber have? They don't own one taxi, one car. What do they have? Computer, data. Capability to manage data. What does Airbnb, the biggest hotel in the world, Airbnb? They don't own one hotel. What do they have? Brain, data, computer, capability to manage the data. all of us that are teaching in the business schools, we are teaching brain, capability, data. Companies have to be data driven. What is Google doing? Collecting data. What is Amazon doing? Collecting data. Capabilities to manage data, data-based industry. The muscle is not so much important anymore. Outsource it to Vietnam, outsource it to India, outsource it to China. Let them do the work. What is the strength? In the brain. It's called the post-industrial information society. But my dear friends, this is on its way out. All of you teaching in the business schools, it is on its way out. I remember when I was an MBA student, I was teaching us computers. I learned Fortran. I learned cards. Today, it's everything on its way out. Even the brain is on its way out. It's going to be replaced, my friends. Digital society, not information society, digital society. Artificial intelligence, quantum computers. The brain will be on its way out. It's going to be replaced by computers, by robotics. So what is the future? What is our future? We want from muscle to brain. Brain is on the way out. What is the future? Are you ready? See, this is a digital society, ENA, systematization, systems. What the future? Are you ready? Do you see what I'm seeing up there on the code? Do you see what I see? No I. My dear friends, if we don't watch it, Nazi Germany, which is a picture on the left, is not a fluke in the history of mankind. It's a preamble. It's a preface. Society with lots of capability of the brain and muscle. Nuclear bombs, incredible brain, no heart. Look what's happening in Ukraine. Look what happened in the past Yugoslavia, in the fight between the Serbs and the Bosnians and the Croats. Cutting people's head and playing soccer with people's head. 20th century. Now we're in the 21st century. I'm talking to you because you're the educators. You're preparing the next generation of humanity. If we do not train leaders to have a heart, we are doomed as humanity. Sooner or later, nuclear war is not whether it will happen. When will it happen? We are teaching leaders to know. We should be teaching leaders to be. We need to train the next generation of leaders to have a heart. Whether it's on a country level, business level, or family level, too. This is our choice, my friends. So when we're talking about in Adizes methodology, integration, love, heart, what makes a good leader is not so much what you know anymore. It's what you are. We have to start teaching leaders that are. And that is not taught by reading books or taking classes. It is experiential. In all these leadership schools, business schools, part of the class should be to go to the poverty parts of the city and tell me what you're going to do there for these people. Community organizers, part of the education. Your internship is not only to go work for a company and develop a marketing plan for that company. Experiential. On the 21st of June, we are going to continue. There is more to be talked about. And I will be answering questions, but this is for affiliate faculty. Let me summarize, and then I'll give the space and the floor to Dean Virginius Kundrotas to tell you how to become affiliate faculty of Adizes Graduate School and to continue these classes with me, and then also to be on a community platform where we exchange experiences, knowledge, exercises, cases, questions, answers, and develop a community of people who are going to be teaching. Let me summarize and give the floor to Dean Virginius. We live in a world of change. Change causes disintegration. Disintegration causes problems. We are falling apart. Please realize the world externally, in a sense, is getting integrated because of internet and the media. I mean, the whole world is becoming one big village. The distances are becoming shorter and shorter. With flying, with the faster planes. It's one country. While it is integrated technologically outside, socially, we are falling apart inside. We are falling apart as human beings. Humanity is falling apart. We're getting disintegrated from the environment. We're destroying the world in which we live. So it looks like we are getting integrated on one hand, but we are getting fast disintegrated on the other hand. We need leadership that can continue change, because you cannot stop change without falling apart. And that has to be learned. It's not good enough with intentions. Good intentions and a quarter will buy you a cup of coffee. You need tools, systems, which I spent 50 years of my life, and my associates around the world spent 50 years together perfecting this methodology so it works. And it works. We've taken companies from $12 million to $4 billion without falling apart, and it will continue growing. Another company from $250 million valuation to $15 billion. By the way, I look at our website, www.adizes.com, and you will see there the testimonials with the name of the company, name of the president. Yes, it is a successful methodology, which needs to be learned. And our dream is to teach professors, teachers, instructors in the universities that teach the future leaders of the world to know this methodology so we can help this world that is falling apart. Because it is falling apart. Thank you very much.